Ching. Now put your blouse back on. Hater.
Money's the motivation, money's the conversation. You on vacation, we getting paid, so we on vacation. I did it for the fam. It's whatever we had to do, it's just who I am. Yeah.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Reaper's Reviews. Today we're talking about Furious 7. Yeah, that's right, Furious 7. I just got out of it at 8 and everything like that. And it's about like 9:40 at night, and started at 4 o'clock. Got home. Well, before I left, after I left the theater, got some food and was getting some like footage to edit together for do a little montage and stuff like that for this video. I'm beat. I should have done that earlier this week, but I was lagging on that and getting some other stuff, some other videos edited beforehand. And now we're here talking about the movie. What can I say about the movie? It was good. It was a really good movie. I think they definitely should end the movie here, and that's it. And end the series here. But from what I've read, that they're gonna do 2 more after this. I'm like, leave it alone. That just end it here. Paul Walker's no longer with us, and it just ended on a good note. Because even with his death, it's gonna change a lot of things going on, and I know how they're gonna write it out, but it's just like, no, just let it go. Just leave the series alone as it is. But let's talk about the review. So the opening sequence, like this sequence right here that we're watching right now, he's over there walking on top of the bus, and this basically reminded me of Uncharted. This was definitely an Uncharted moment for me. But it was definitely a cool sequence, and Paul Walker's brothers filled in for him in certain parts of the movie. This part, there was like a scene where it looks like he was one of his brothers had stepped in, but it was like for like far away shots, so you couldn't really tell because him and his brothers look pretty much alike. There's other scenes that you couldn't really tell pretty much, so they did a really good job editing, and I commend them at what they did with what they had and stuff like that. They did a really good job, so my hats off to them for doing what they had, with what they had, and really get the shots what they needed. Now, with this movie coming in, you have newcomers, of course. Kurt Russell being one of the newcomers, who was ultimate badass. Then you have Jason Statham, the transport himself, coming into this movie. He did a really good job as well. Then you have Tony Jaa. I mean, his scenes were amazing. He was in there for for quite a while. It was pretty amazing. I was surprised. I didn't think it was gonna be there that long, but he was in there for a while. We have, Ronda Rousey has a cameo appearance. I think the shortest cameo appearance is Iggy Azalea. She made a quick appearance. It was only there for a quick second. But I think, who else made another appearance was Hector from the first movie. If you guys don't remember, he's a guy who has a last name that he can't pronounce. He makes a little quick appearance as well. And of course, they give us a quick, race war scene and one racing scene. So over the course of the franchise, we had less and less about racing and stuff like that. The cars are still the front of the movie, but it became less and less about racing and stuff like that. It's just them just trying to get away from. So it definitely changed from what it was when it first started out. The series definitely evolved and gotten better, which is pretty cool. It's kind of surprising to see this movie sustained this long in the franchise for 7 movies. It says a lot about the movie itself, the franchise itself. Tokyo Drift, a lot of people didn't like it as much. I liked it. I enjoyed it for what it was. And so, with my review that with my talk that I did about this movie, I said that the people from Tokyo Drift would make an appearance. I was right actually that they used Natalie Kelly and Bow Wow were just in it from the clips that they used from Tokyo Drift. They just put those in it. Those were the only times you've seen them. The guy who played Brian Bosworth, Lucas Black, he actually got to actually shoot an actual scene. It was a small scene, but it was a scene with him and Vin Diesel. So that was a pretty cool thing. That was the only thing he was in it for. He wasn't in it for the whole long haul. He was just in it for a brief, short moment. But yeah, it was pretty cool little tie-in there. And yes, they do go over the top with some of the action stuff in there that was like, you guys didn't really need to go all out crazy and ridiculous, but they did. And I was like, and if you thought that plane sequence, that runaway was long and ridiculous, they top it of ridiculousness. And yeah, that was my only complaint. They do go over the top sometimes with the movies, and that was one of the sequences that kind of went over the top. And this one they had another one. I'm not going to spoil it because it just came out, and you see it for yourself and you'll know. They don't have anything extra at the end, but the end scene of the movie was pretty cool as well. And they do have little for Paul Walker kind of thing at the end as well. During the end right before the end credits, before the crawl starts, they have for Paul. All I gotta say is, being Paul Walker's last film, it was definitely an amazing movie, definitely beautifully done. It's just sad that, this is it. Vin Diesel, the team comes back, of course. You have great moments between Ludacris and Tyrese. They have great moments together in the airplane sequence that you've seen in the trailers. But, and if you see, the extended scene of that, that's pretty much what you get in the theater. It's hilarious. I loved it. That scene was pretty awesome. I loved their banter between each other. And then the newcomer is Natalie Emmanuel. I can't remember her last name. Beautiful actress. She had her part was significant, but she didn't really do too much. They didn't give her that much to do. She was in it for a while, but her role was pivotal into the movie. But of course, she only did she didn't really talk she talked, but it wasn't she didn't have great dialogue going on. Then you have Dajman Hats. I always butcher that guy's name. He was in it as well. He was in it, but it wasn't a big role as well. It was just a minimal role. They could have gotten for that role. They could have just gotten anybody to play that role, because I felt that yeah, he's a great actor, but I mean really, it's just it wasn't that big of a role. They could have gotten another actor who was up and coming, maybe to just cut his teeth off, something to show he could hang with the big boys. But yeah, this was But I thought it was a cool thing. If you're a Boondock Saints fan, you're gonna enjoy it. Duffy makes an appearance in the movie. I'm not gonna tell you where or when. He has he has 2 lines in the movie, but he's in the movie for a little bit. You'll notice him, but if you blink, you'll miss it kind of moment. So look out for that if you have not seen the movie yet. But yes, that movie, that part, when I saw it, I was like, Duffy! It's Duffy! I was like, where are the Saints at? Where are your boys at? But no, they it was a pretty cool little moment that they had there. That, when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's Duffy! That's awesome. Then, the action sequence, of course, goes over the top. Then you have the fight scene between Jason Statham and The Rock. Was one of the coolest fight scenes they had. Of course, you had the rock bottom. He did the rock bottom in the movie. The camera, the way Justin Wan did, James Wan did, some cool stuff with the cameras that, were very different. It was kind of disorienting for a moment, because we're not used to that camera movement. So when he picks up Jason Statham, he's going to give him the rock bottom. The camera pans up with him and then turns at an angle the way they're standing there. So basically, the camera is it's not how when you take a picture of people like this, and when you want to get the whole body kind of view, that's what it kind of looked like. It's like that. The camera kind of turns and tilts and basically goes along with them and turns sideways. So it's kind of like this. So you're sitting there, and also he's like this. So I mean, that camera movement alone. That camera movement alone was pretty amazing. It was very different, something new, had never been done that that I've seen in an action movie, and it was done really well. It was just very disorienting. They did that once, twice, 3 times, I believe. I can't remember. I think it was 3 times I can remember. It was actually pretty cool on how it was done. It was definitely pretty awesome. Then another cool fight scene was between Vin Diesel and Jason Statham. Was another cool fight scene they had going on. Tony Jaa, Paul Walker's fight scenes were pretty amazing. I mean, pretty awesome. Then you see Tony Jaa do some pretty cool stunt stuff that he had did in his previous movies, like jumping over certain things and just going through some stuff. That was pretty awesome. But the only thing I thought was kind of weird, Ronda Rousey and Michelle Rodriguez fight scene was another amazing fight scene. The only problem I had with the fight scenes were between Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez characters. They're like street fighters, stuff like that. How the hell do they know how to fight like that? That kind of hand-to-hand combat kind of stuff like that. It just nothing in the movie suggested that they had a pass without, military training or kind of fight like that. So it's kind of like, how you gonna accelerate that? It was weird. It was definitely kind of like weird. Now, Paul Walker, since he was in FBI and they trained at Quantico and all that stuff like that, so he would have some hand-to-hand combat. I don't know how skilled they are in the FBI, so I don't know. I would say he'd be able to handle himself since they shouldn't be able to handle himself in the movies. But to go against Tony Jaa and how the fights were was pretty crazy, and yeah, it was kind of like weird to see them show Vin Diesel fight against Jason, who's a Black Ops guy who's did Black Ops training, is like very, very like the best of the best, and yet he's able to so those are the kind of things that kind of like you can't set the bar so high like, but our guy can overcome that. Where does passes say, oh, he can whoop that guy's ass, no problem. So that was one of the, I like the fact that you had Vin Diesel, The Rock's character, and you had Jason Statham's character fighting, and it wasn't a one-sided fight. They were actually both. It was hand in hand, neck and neck, going at it. So since The Rock's character is a military guy, he has military background as well. So it makes sense that they would give him a bit of a challenge as well. So that right there was pretty awesome. At least it wasn't a one-sided fight where Jason said, "Oh, whooped your ass. That's it. You're done. Boom." That was pretty awesome. Another cool thing that they had is the car that they had in the hotel room, the hotel sequence. That was a cool car. There was some cool stuff there. I think that was a bit much of the whole car flying over to the next thing and going on. That was like a bit much for me. And but yeah, I mean, other than that was pretty much all that I could say about that. Then Kurt Russell's appearance was amazing. He's a great actor himself. The way the character he was playing the character, he's just very honest. It was kind of weird because I'm sitting there like, oh, he's gonna betray them. I'm not gonna spoil anything. It's just you're watching like, oh, he's gonna betray him. I'm just sitting there like, damn it, he's gonna screw him over. Something's up because he's playing this very nice upfront guy in the beginning of the when you meet him, and he's like being nice to him and being all like, hey this, hey that, and you're just sitting there like, oh crap, he's gonna screw you. Not gonna spoil it, but like I say, Kurt Russell is a great actor. I mean, if you've seen Death Race, if you've seen Escape from New York, if you've seen Sky High, that's a Disney movie, I believe it was. Not 100% sure. Then what other movies he's done? He's done a lot of movies. He had done Going Overboard is another comedy. But yeah, I mean, check out his work. But I mean, he did a really cool part of this role. And for any of you guys out there, don't want to see any spoilers, stop, because I'm going to spoil it right now. Give you time to, fast forward. Alright, so since you guys stuck around, you've seen the movie, and I'm going to spoil it for you. The very ending movie, the beach sequence at the end of the movie where they're all together and Paul Walker's playing with his kid and he's talking to Mia. That was one of his brothers. Those were his brothers. His brothers were there that day filming that sequence. The speech that was in the background with Vin Diesel talking and the way they were looking at them, the tears, those tears were real. Those were real tears, and it's because it was one they were filming and they really did lose Paul Walker, and so those were real tears. And what was being said during that monologue, you just sit there and you can just. It was a very heart-wrenching moment because there's what Vin Diesel's saying in the movie, it's coming from his heart, and it wasn't in the script. It was something that he wanted to say, and basically it was a very touching moment, and you could feel that it, that he was very hurt, and he will miss Paul Walker. So that whole ending, the way it was done and the way what was said and everything like that, it was something that came from his heart, and it was said for how he felt about Paul Walker and how he'll never be missed, and his family, and he'll never be gone. That whole ending right there was like very touching. I mean, it was one of the most touching endings that you could possibly get in the series, and it was pretty awesome. He had Michelle Rodriguez. She had tears in her eyes. Those were real tears, but you could tell that it was his brother. The way he stood there, and you could kind of tell, but it was far away. But since they looked so close alike, it's kind of, you can't really tell unless you get like a really good close up. So they were able to get away with it. I give my hats off to them for that. That was an amazing. Shot. All right, since you guys are back, and so as far as it goes, I'm going to say the whole franchise series was definitely a solid. It definitely did an amazing job. I give it 2 thumbs up. Saw an IMAX. Definitely worth checking out. If you didn't like the series at all, if you liked the first one but then you thought the movie just kind of tanked at the end, like a few series on, give it a shot. Go back and check out 4, 5, and if you like if you like those, then check this one out. If not, then stay away from it, because it's probably not your cup of tea. But if you're just kind of person that just want to see the straight adrenaline rush kind of movie where the plot really doesn't really matters, but it's not like the most important thing because you're just there for the fast cars and beautiful women, check out this movie. But if you're a person who wants to go for a movie for a great story and there's no plot holes and nothing over the top, stay away, because you're not going to really enjoy it as much. You're probably like, this movie was garbage because this, and this. So yeah. And as always, guys, I'll be seeing you guys around. Got more stuff coming up for you guys. Leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a comment. Also, subscribe if you have not subscribed. And I'll be seeing you guys around next time. Alright, I'm Grim Reaper. Bye.